You plan your video idea, you set up the shot, you record take after take until it sounds right. Then you spend hours editing, choosing music, writing a title, designing a thumbnail. You finally hit publish, and what do you get? 17 views, maybe a couple of likes, and maybe, if you're lucky, a comment from your mom saying, "Nice job, sweetie." Sound familiar? Well, this is the part where most people quit, not because they're lazy and not because they don't care, but because they're discouraged. And I've been there. So today I want to give you the real reason you need to keep posting, even when it feels like no one is watching. Because it's not just about pushing through, it's about understanding why those early videos matter way more than you think. So if you've ever asked yourself, why bother? Well, this one's for you. Let's get into it. Let me start with something nobody tells you early on. The real value of your first 50 videos or so isn't in the views, it's in the foundation you're laying. When people talk about YouTube growth, they focus on subscribers and views and watch time, and those things do matter eventually, but at the start, your job really is just to get better. Better at scripting, better at shooting, better at finishing videos and hitting publish, even when it's not perfect. That is how you start building real momentum. YouTube isn't just a content platform. It's a long game in personal development. Every video you make teaches you something new about your voice, your workflow, your audience, your ideas. You're not just growing a channel, you're growing yourself as a creator. That's what the early phase is for. And the only way to get there is by going through it. Let me give you some insights on this. The YouTube algorithm needs repetition. So the thing about YouTube's algorithm is it's not a judge, it's a matchmaker, so to speak. It's not sitting there deciding whether your video is good enough for anybody. It's just trying to figure out who your content is for. And the only way it can figure that out is if you keep posting, because each video gives it more data. Like, what topics are you covering? Who's watching all the way through? What kinds of thumbnails or titles attract the right people? But if you only post once a month or once every few months, there's just not enough to go on. You've got to build up what I call algorithmic trust. And that doesn't come from one viral video, it comes from consistency. So you don't have to post daily, but you do have to show up enough for the system and your audience to recognize what you are all about. There's also the binge factor. You know, that moment when you find a new YouTuber and after one great video, you go back and you start clicking through everything else on their channel. Well, that's the binge factor, and it's powerful. But here's what most new creators forget. That moment only happens if you've built a body of work. If somebody finds you and sees only 2 or 3 uploads from 6 months ago, they're probably not subscribing, even if they liked what they saw. But if they land on your channel and see 10 or 20 or even 30 videos, even if the views are low, it tells them something very important. It says, this person is serious. This creator is invested. This is someone worth following. You earn trust through repetition. Your library isn't just about SEO, after all. It's about credibility. Let's be honest about something. Clarity comes through action. Let me tell you something personal. When I started creating content, I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to talk about, and you can still tell that from the history of this channel. I had a few ideas, I thought I knew my audience, but every time I posted, I learned something new. One video would feel easy and flow naturally, another would feel sort of forced, even if it got more views. And over time, I started paying attention to patterns. Which topics sparked real engagement? Which formats made me energized and not feeling drained? And what comments really lit me up and sparked conversation for me? And none of that came from thinking or planning. It came from just doing and experiencing. And you can't figure out your voice by standing on the sidelines. You have to post your way into clarity. Remember, if you wait to feel ready, you're still going to be waiting a year from now. In fact, you're going to be waiting forever because you are never going to feel ready. You just have to be prepared to jump in. By the way, I know this part of the journey is frustrating. You're putting in effort, you're showing up, you're doing the work, and it feels like nobody is noticing. But here's the truth. Someone is watching. Even if the numbers are small, real people are seeing your work. And you never know who might be paying attention quietly until they speak up months from now. Also, you're watching yourself. You're proving that you can do hard things without needing applause, and that is powerful. Most people quit during this exact phase. And they don't quit because they aren't good enough, but more because they thought growth would come faster. But what if the growth is happening right now and it just doesn't look the way you expected? What if this is the season that separates the hobbyists from the creators who last? Because once you get through this quiet stretch, you come out on the other side with something completely unshakable, and that is momentum. So let me say this clearly. Keep posting. Not because every video will be a hit, but because every video is a step forward. Your 5th video won't be your best, but it will be better than your first. And your 50th will make you probably laugh a little bit at how far you've come. Hey, if this video reminded you of why you started, do me a favor, hit the like button so YouTube knows this kind of content matters to people like you. And subscribe if you're building a channel later in life and want more real advice with no hype and no shortcuts. And if you're still watching at this point, you are exactly the kind of creator who will go the distance. You're not too late. You are just getting started. And I'm here for every step of the journey. YouTube is pretty good at finding more content to help you along, so I hope one of these 2 videos fits that bill. Check them out, and I'll see you there.